Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. Cool. So we at Lindus Health are an anti-CRO for life science pioneers. I'm going to tell you briefly what that means and the impact we've been able to have. So essentially, we're all here because I think we're all excited about the next generation of health treatments, of new drugs, of medical devices, like some of the companies we've heard from today on this stage. This is driven by new modalities, polyindication targets, and really kind of AI-driven target abundance. But this excitement isn't really translating into new companies created or patient impact yet. So what's gone wrong? We think bluntly that progress in life sciences is being held back by the clinical research industry. Clinical research organizations, they run the majority of clinical trials, and new treatments have to undergo clinical trials to show they're safe and effective before patients can benefit. But today, that process is extremely slow, so delay is completely endemic. That delay is extremely costly, and errors and fraud are shockingly normalized. And we think this all comes down to the way clinical research organizations operate. This is an $85 billion industry, and it's effectively run as a pure services business model. So we solve this with just a different model for running end-to-end clinical research. Our product effectively is a clinical trial, so the entire clinical trial delivered end-to-end, really as an outcome as a service. And we think this is the only way to ensure better outcomes for patients and better outcomes from our customers, i.e. pharma and biotech companies. So while our product is the clinical trial, our secret weapon is software and AI. That's how we do this faster and more efficiently. So we have purpose-built software that sort of automates every aspect of the clinical trial, from design through to patient identification, enrollment, and ongoing operations and monitoring. We also have access to more than 40 million electronic health records. This helps us screen and identify the right patients. And finally, we tie it all together with a platform that helps us and our customers and our trial teams of clinicians, medics, and clinical operations folks have better real-time oversight over a clinical trial's progress. So faster, more effective clinical trials. This is an existential problem for our customers. Speed is everything in this space. Getting a company's product to market, through clinical research months or years faster can add millions of dollars to their market cap, or move their share price. Reliability, being able to count on the timelines that we provide customers is extremely important. To date, across our portfolio of 45 completed clinical trials, we're on average 73% faster than our customers' expectations. And finally, doing all this with the highest standards of data quality and doing it transparently is very important too. So who are we? We're a team of about 100 now across the US and UK, we're lucky to be backed by some awesome industry advisors and to have worked with a variety of companies in life sciences, from small innovative biotechs all the way through to some of the biggest pharma companies. And ultimately, we've cracked a model for clinical trials that are up to 3 times faster, so getting through the entire process end-to-end 3 times faster, potentially at an order of magnitude lower cost, and above all, producing higher quality data. This is extremely valuable for our customers. We quickly grow with them to run all of their clinical research projects. But not just that, we think the real opportunity is even bigger. It's not just about disrupting kind of the clinical research organization market, but we think this market should be so much bigger. So how much capital would be available for companies in this space if clinical trials weren't constantly delayed, if the results couldn't be relied upon? That's what makes us really excited. It's about all the studies and all the treatments that we will enable through our success. So how much bigger would the market be if everyone worked with us? I'll leave you with that, and thank you very much.
Awesome, Meri. Really great to hear the pitch. Given how effective the Lindus platform is in terms of improving speed and efficacy of the clinical trial, how do your customers choose between you and alternative CROs?
Yeah, great question. So, the challenge we have is that no one gets fired for choosing IQVIA. And so, even if we can demonstrate that we are, faster, more reliable, et cetera, there's always that inertia to overcome. But where our customers have chosen to work with us, it's generally been because we can present, a very detailed plan about exactly how we'll recruit participants to ensure faster timelines, how we'll provide oversight of the data, and that convinces them that, it's worth taking a risk, in inverted commas, to work with a newer provider like us. And happy to say that it works. Like, we have a customer NPS rating of 92, lots of happy repeat customers. And so, once people work with us once, they see how it works, they get comfortable with the new process, and then, that's the start of a longer relationship. So yeah.
Thanks, Meri. You're obviously one of the sort of larger / more later stage companies in the pitch lineup today. I mean, at your stage now, what are the biggest barriers to widespread adoption?
Yeah, good question. I think, we're still quite selective about the trials we take on. So there are certain therapy areas, such as oncology therapeutics, which are pretty big, that we just have decided we're not going to focus on those yet. So most of our work tends to be in sort of metabolic health, cardiovascular, psychiatry. We do a lot of work in medical devices, as well as sort of simpler drug trials. And we want to make sure we can, whenever we expand to serve a new therapy area, a new trial type, we're set up to do that really well. So I think that's kind of one kind of self-imposed limitation. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, there is just, this space is very conservative. It's highly regulated. Running end-to-end, clinical trials covering thousands of patients is no joke. And so, a lot of customers sort of have prefer to stick with partners they've worked with before, even though those partners, they're not satisfied with the work they're doing, or there are obvious gaps. But little by little, we're overcoming that mindset. Every day that goes by, every time we enroll a new patient in a trial, it just kind of adds to our track record. So yeah.
Thank you, really enjoyed it. Obviously, can just massively see the market, the benefits you're offering, the point of difference, which makes me think about your competition. I guess, who is it? Who's closest? And are you seeing other disruptors doing this, or are you seeing the traditional players copy you?
Yeah, very interesting point. Honestly, like, our competitors, it's either one of the big CROs, and we increasingly frequently kind of come up against them, or it's kind of a long tail of, smaller niche CROs, which might be like, a particular research site that just does, early phase type 2 diabetes research in Germany or something. Among that cohort, we haven't seen many new either business models or much new technology adoption, frankly, from the incumbents, which I'm not super surprised by. Their service business model, big companies kind of disrupting themselves is hard to do in the first place. But even so, if they were to adopt a more tech-driven approach, their business model is selling billable hours, it wouldn't really make sense. It would be, cannibalistic. But I think that day will come, and we're always on the lookout for interesting companies. And I think having other disruptors trying to do what we're doing would probably be a net good thing, as it would help, evangelize the sort of different model of running clinical trials. So yeah. Cool. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you.